It's Meatless Monday, and I'm here in the kitchen of Alan Loewinsohn, one of the top lawyers in the United States. And when he is not winning in the courtroom, he is winning in the kitchen. Because I'm telling you, I've had this. Yeah, thank you. I've had his pizza before. It's phenomenal. And he's going to show you how it's done tonight. And we're going to start with a pesto, right?
We are going to make fresh pesto.
So, how do you do that?
Well, you get your ingredients.
Yes.
And so our ingredients are pine nuts, which you did not know. The #1 supplier of pine nuts is Russia,
No, I didn't know.
followed by Mongolia. But they export, for whatever reason, them all to China. So actually, most pine nuts we buy come from China. So go figure, I can't buy them directly from Mongolia anymore like they used to. We have basil from my garden. We have first press olive oil from outside of Florence, Italy. The traditional pesto dish, which dates back to the 1600s in Genoa, used pecorino sardo because it's a little bit sweeter, but it's very difficult to find in Dallas. I thought that Jimmy's Italian Market would have it, which they have every so often, but they didn't. So we're compromising a little bit tonight and using pecorino romano.
So those of you that don't know about Jimmy's, it is an authentic Italian market in downtown, right?
Yeah, it's been here. I don't know how long Jimmy's has been here, but I mean, 40s, 50s, long time.
It's a destination. You got to try it. You got to go here.
It's a very cool place.
Yeah.
So pesto in Italian means pounded.
Okay.
That's the name. And so it comes, as I said, from Genoa, which is a spectacular place for basil. It's a very mild basil, which is actually best for pesto. And so I guess they had all this wild basil growing, and they said, we've got to do something with it. And maybe they went to Mongolia, I'm not sure. But there are actually Italian pine nuts. So this is a mortar and pestle, which you can double to make your guacamole when you're not being Italian. But tonight we're Italian, so we don't know anything about guacamole. And so the first is to take our pine nuts and basically crush them. Now a lot of people make pesto, yes, and just pound it. You're going to pulverize it into a paste.
Okay.
So a lot of people make pesto in a blender, and you can, and it tastes marvelous. But the unique thing about the original way, which is what we're doing now, is that it creates a texture that you can't duplicate in a blender, as you'll see.
Oh.
And so
You want to do it more than that?
No, that's pretty much it. You just create a paste.
Got it.
It doesn't mean you can do it too much. You can't do it too much, actually. So that's our first deal.
That was the first step. That was
Very
pretty easy.
It's an incredibly easy dish, actually. And so our next is garlic. So the beauty of this is you don't have to chop it up. You get to pound it again.
Okay, great.
All right, so start pounding.
Okay.
And just literally pound it into nothing, and then sort of mix it up with your pestle.
I like pounding it instead of chopping it or mincing it.
It's much easier.
Yes.
Here. All right, so we need to get our salt. Salt helps break basil down.
Okay.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to drop our basil in sort of little chunks. It's just 2 cups. And then we take a pinch of salt, and then I'll show you
Pound it
initially.
again?
Yes, and this is the I guess the harder part, if there is such a thing, is you just have to keep pounding until the basil breaks up into little pieces. The paste sort of helps collect it.
Yeah.
What the sound effects are like. Okay, you put some more in.
Okay.
You actually put the rest in. We'll just add a tiny bit more salt. Break it up.
Yeah.
Your turn to try.
Okay, Alan.
So our next step is probably the most important after basil is our cheese. And so we're going to take our pecorino sardo first, and we're going to use the right side of the.
I saw that.
So I like doing this as opposed to, any other kind of grater because it's very soft. When you do it this way, it's very easy to mix. As a result, and it's easy to make a mess, and I like making messes because then I feel like a kid again. And so we need 1/3 cup, and this is, it's like a pillow. It's just so soft.
Nice and soft.
Soft, very soft. And amazingly, I got lucky and did it right. So here we go.
Good.
Okay, so now,
Now mix.
so we'll take a fork and just sort of mix it together.
I can do that.
Okay, it's just kind of a dry. This is our Parmigiano Reggiano. Now you can just use Parmesan, and a lot of people do to make basil, and it tastes to me wonderful because anything with basil and garlic does. So we're going to do 2 of these, so keep going.
Do we need to add more olive oil? This is looking a little dry.
No, it should be dry right now, and then it will come to life.
So this is the way it's supposed to look like.
And once again, I got incredibly lucky, and we have just enough. Okay?
Good job.
And now we're going to take our, from the 1600s olive oil.
Wait, 1600s?
Well, this one's not. This is actually 2019 first press. Can you tell me your mind a third? Just mix this in. Okay.
A little at a time.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yep.
If you're doing it in a blender, you're supposed to actually drizzle it in. In the mortar and pestle, it's not that big a deal. So you can kind of see the texture start to develop.
Yes.
And the color. And it's a lot deeper color because you're getting the mixture, you're still getting the pieces of basil. So you can make it as creamy as you want, or you can make it, you know, a little bit crunchier. So now is the best part. You get to taste it.
Okay.
Do we need to start over?
That was perfection.
Do we need to go to the store and buy some in a jar or anything like that?
That is absolutely amazing.
The store's still open, so if you'd like to get some, you could.
No, this is great.
The next step will be to roll our dough and to make our pizza.
That sounds good. Let's go. Okay, so now we're on the dough, and we have with us in the kitchen is Lewis, and Lewis made the dough.
The dough that I make is one that has to stay in the refrigerator for 24 hours to develop a flavor, right? It's like sourdough. The longer it sits in the refrigerator, the more complex it gets, the better taste it gets. So we made this, and what he's doing now is like, for the most part, professional pizza places will use a sheeter, and they will put a lot of flour, and they will sheet it 4 or 5 times. I've got my trusty sheeter here, and he's going to roll it out and put the flour in it to help develop.
I'm a better pesto maker than I am
You know,
pizza dough maker.
spin it like they do in the
Yeah, well,
Italian
that's why I
restaurant.
brought Lewis here.
The thing about dough is that a lot of times when people are making a dough, it tends to shrink, right? And it's because it's too cold. But this is a cold dough, and so what you do is you basically have to roll it and hold it so that you can sort of stretch it, right? And so that's what we're doing. We're stretching the dough to sort of get it to its size.
What we're going to do next is we're going to put it on the grill, the gas grill. You can use any kind of grill, but just use the gas grill, and it takes a total of 10 minutes. So we just take one side and do a little finger painting, and then we are off to the grill. So we're out in the backyard, and we have our sort of fake pizza oven, which is a Weber gas grill, and we're going to take our beautiful Sir Isaac Newton gravity stove with Vanna White here, and we're going to put it on the grill for 3 minutes, and it's going to look hopefully tremendously different. Ready, set. Oh, not bad, not bad. Not bad. All right.
That was good.
I need a 3-minute timer from anyone.
Yeah.
So this is our side one. And you see, we've now got it ready, and we're going to flip it.
Okay, so now what's next? We brought our...
So this is our pizza. It's like a cracker. See you in there. Okay. And we're going to put a little bit. We don't need a lot because there's already olive oil in the pesto. Just this is the part that's going to go on the grill. Now we're going to turn it over.
Okay.
Okay. And we're going to decorate.
Nice.
Okay.
This beautiful pesto that smells so yummy. Right?
So we have covered it with pesto. So if you don't like pesto, do not eat this pizza.
Warning.
Warning. And now we're going to add for color and taste some roasted red peppers. So now for the really messy part, we're just gonna add goat cheese. And now, 7 minutes later, this is the end product, and you get to taste it.
Yes, let's taste this. This is amazing, Alan. It's very basil-y.
Then we have achieved perfection.
Yes.
So go home and pound away and get your pizza ready and enjoy.
Thank you so much for coming and showing us how you can do pizza.
It was my pleasure.
And we'll see you guys back on the next Meatless Monday.